And it is the beginning now of round 4. So reinforcement phase, we check. See, we don't move the reinforcement up any, and the reinforcement is at 0, so we don't have to draw any more enemies. So then we go to travel phase. Well, I'm not moving because I don't want to retreat. So then we go to pursuit. And yes, I do have a focus. So this dire wolf is going to come for me, and that will halve my focus from 5 to 2, since we always round down. So now it's the hero phase, and I'm going to look at my hand, and I've got a couple of things to put out here. So I'm going to put out my daggers as a fast action, my dagger. Put that down, that moves my focus up by 1. And of course I'm going to put out my longbow, which also moves my focus up by 1. And then I've still got my 2 hasty shots and my aimed shot. And what I can do is I need to take out at least one more, because this encounter ends when you've got 2 progression tokens, and I've already got one, and I can get another one by making this enemy leave play. So the one that I'm going to do is the dire wolf. Since he has that relentless, he doesn't go away, he's definitely going to be my target. So I would need to deal 4 physical damage due to his shield and his health in order to take him out. To do that, I can do one of these would probably work. If I did this secondary one, which deals 2 damage, and combine it with aimed shot that I have in my hand, which also gives me a bonus to physical damage, that would be 4 altogether, and that would take out the dire wolf, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to combine these two, so it's going to go up by 2 plus an additional 1 focus. So 1, 2, 3, which I hit that reinforcement track, so it goes up to 1. But again, I'm not going to have to worry about it because I'm about to take out this guy. So I'm going to put these in my discard pile, and that deals 4 damage to this wolf. So he's going to go into the discard, and I am going to get 1 more resolve token. Okay, and then I'm going to use a fast action to move the bow back to the top of my deck. That bow is like my lifeline. I've got to keep it, or else I am in trouble. Well, now I also have the dagger, so I can still do other actions here, but I would have to do a fast action, and it only has regular actions. And again, my hasty shots are only available if I have a bow. Okay. With that, then my hero turn ends, and I'm going to draw back up to my hand size. So I draw 3 cards, which I know the top one is my bow, and this one is a hooded cloak. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And this one is an arcane shot. Now, if you look, my deck is empty, so I really need to rest after this. And I'm going to take advantage of this healing potion here, probably after I rest as well. Okay, so this guy, it's the defense phase, and this wolf comes after me, or this ice hound comes after me, and he's going to deal me 1 damage, and I am going to move my aimed shot over to my buried pile. Okay. I did forget, once I got rid of that dire wolf, I needed to put another progression counter here. So now the defense phase is over, and it's the encounter phase, and I look, and sure enough, I have enough to end this encounter. So again, I can flip my handy player aid card over to the back and see what happens. First thing I do is disperse enemies. All right, this guy is gone. Next thing I do is improve the active location. Hey, yay, this location goes from perilous to safe. Then I draw 2 rewards. Okay, 1, 2. Ooh, a stone of power. And a stamina vial. Okay. I'm gonna keep the stamina vial, but I'm gonna move this stone of power to the bottom of this deck and instead get an extra resolve for that. I didn't put enough in my token bank over there, so I have to draw 1 more out. So now I've got 5 resolve. That's a good amount of resolve. Okay, next, Hero's Rest. If able, I can rest. So this gives me 2 plus 1. So I get to do that. So I am going to put back a couple of these. I'm going to put these 3 back on top, and I'm going to put that aimed shot on the top. Or they go on the bottom of my deck, but since I have no deck, they're essentially just replacing my deck. So that's that. And I'm also going to use my healing potion, which says place this card on the bottom of the reward deck, and 1 hero ally heals 2 restoration, but I get a +1, so that's 3. So this card goes back here, and I'm going to take these. I'm going to take the burial pile and put them back into my discard pile. Okay. Alright. Then I'm going to use my stamina potion. Why not, as a reflex? Move 3 cards from your discard pile to the bottom of your deck. I am just all manner of resting up at the moment. 3 cards, so I'm going to do aimed shot. Maybe an acrobatic dodge. And a replenish. Those replenishes are actually more useful than you would think. So there we go. Okay, so now I'm actually looking pretty good. So then I draw back to my hand limit, which I'm already at my hand limit. So I'm at 5. And then it says discard the encounter. So this encounter is discarded. Excellent. Okay, and then we draw our time card. This says move 1. Each hero with 2 or more enemies in their hero area is dealt damage. Fortunately, there are no enemies in our hero area, so we just move that time value up by 1. I'm doing pretty good. Alright, that's the end of round 4. Alright, it is the beginning of round 5. So again, the reinforcement track goes back to 0. My focus goes back to 3. And we start out with the reinforcement phase. There are none because there's no encounter. And now it's the travel phase, and I have to decide, am I healed up enough to go to that final encounter? And I think I am. So I'm going to move to this final location. Oh, the Dark Forest. Okay, well there's no anything there. There's no location stuff there. But now I do have to turn over this into the Wilds special encounter. Okay, so first off I have to do this so I get 4 enemies, so 2 times 1 plus 2 of any type, so 4 enemies. So there's 1, 2, oh man, I hate those Ice Reavers, 3, and 4. Okay, so these guys are all here in the quest area. Then I have to go to the special setup rules. So this says place Guardhawk the Charred in the quest area. So this is Guardhawk the Charred. So I'm going to put him over here in in the quest area. It says, as a reflex, special rules for this encounter. As a reflex, a player may move 4 progression tokens from this card to discard any one enemy. Okay, that's good to know. Progression. As a fast action, a hero may discard 2 cards to place a progression counter on this card. So I'd have to discard 2 cards to get 1 progression. And then it says, when Gardock we only end this encounter when Gardock the Charred is eliminated. And this encounter cannot be retreated from. Alright, now, if I go over here and look at Into the Wilds, if you notice, Gardock the Charred doesn't have a health like all the rest of them. If I look here at Into the Wilds, if I turn it over, I see that he has health equal to 3 times the number of players plus 6. Ugh, so he has 9 health. Okay, this is going to be difficult. Alright, so let's start now the pursuit phase. So I've got 3. So the first guy, he's going to move over here. So that takes me down to 1. Oops. And then the Ice Reaver is going to come over here, and that will take me down to 0. And now it's time for the hero phase. So I'm going to look at my hand. I've got my hooded cloak and my longbow. I'm going to go ahead and put them into my hand area, or my hero area, I mean. So my hooded bow doesn't cost anything to put out, or my hooded cloak. My longbow does increase my focus by 1, so from 0 to 1. Also, I did go ahead and just put the wound counters on Chardock, so that, or Gardock, whatever I said it was, just to represent how many health he actually has. Okay. Now, here's the thing about Gardock. He has this ability. Let me move this around so you guys can see that there. But it says when he's in the quest area or the hero area, I cannot attack, or he cannot be targeted as long as there are other enemies in the same area. So that's a pretty powerful ability, because it means I can't attack him if there are other creatures. So I've got to get rid of these creatures somehow, and that's why the special ability here is important. However, with only 1 hero, I don't think I'm going to be able to discard enough cards to get rid of all these without running through my deck. I have no other means of healing at the moment, so it'd be very hard for me to discard cards. So I've got to focus on trying to kill off these creatures as fast as possible. And to do that, I'm going to use some things like probably my daggers and my arcane weave and stuff like that, and just try to get them out of there. Now in my hand, I've got left my hasty shots and my arcane shot, so I'm going to see if I can't pull some magic off there to get rid of these creatures. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. This guy doesn't attack this turn since he has the keyword slow. This guy does, and he does 3 damage. So if I'm going to attack him, I need to be able to deal 5 damage to him in order to take him out. So what I'm going to look at is I'm going to use this regular action of my bow, which deals 2 damage. And then I'm going to discard 3 combat cards to deal +1 damage each to deal 5. So I'm going to discard all 3 of these. Now that might be silly, but that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Now that's going to cause my my focus to move up by 5 as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so I do that, and all of these get discarded. My bow gets discarded, and this guy is killed, and I get 1 resolve from that. Wow, I have more resolve out than I had. Okay, so 1 extra resolve. Alright, my resolve is building up quite nicely there. So at the end of my turn, I'm also going to do this Vigilant and put my bow back on top of my deck. Alright? So now at the end of the turn, I'm going to draw back up 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so aimed shot, that's good. Dodge, excellent. Replenish, okay. Another aimed shot and a long bow. Alright. Now, it is the defense phase. This guy does not attack since he's slow, and since there are no others in my hero area, it now goes on to the encounter phase. Of course, we know the encounter is not resolved, so I go straight to the time card and hope the time cards are good to me. Event. Okay, move the time card to, 1, 2. He becomes enraged, which just means he ignores slow. Well, too late for that. Oh man, do these guys become enraged too? I don't know, let me check. Okay, the answer is no. You only enrage one enemy in your hero area, if possible, in a raging enemy. So I do not have to enrage anything in the quest area. Okay, the other thing is that I would remove 2 progression counters from the active encounter if we had any. Thank goodness I didn't discard cards to try to make that happen. That would be extremely frustrating. And that is the end of turn 5.